Picture this, it's Friday night, and you're ready to run that awesome HeroQuest dungeon that you can finally run now that you have your 3D printed doors from MakerTeam over on Printables, which are free and the link is in the description below. There's closed doors everywhere in this labyrinth.
Oh, don't get it. What's the big deal, bruv?
The big deal is now we can represent our open and closed doors on the board with a single piece, and we can even close them back up. Just don't open them up too far.
You what, mate?
What I mean by that is these particular doors don't really open that far before they really start to stress, and then they just completely break. So for the purposes of playing with these, a closed door is a closed door, and if it's open at all, at least that much, or perhaps the other direction, oh, I've already broken it, that much, well then it's open. That's an open door, folks. I've ruined 2 doors in the process of just making this video. Actually that one was already broken, so you can go either direction, but be careful. A coworker of mine printed all of these out for me using the FDM method. You have a little bit of filament that you can just shove in through the door and its hinges here, and then that is how the door will open and close. They're removable from their bases, so even if you break the door, you've got a nice base that you can use for whatever you want. This is a keeper of secrets, and he's going to be right in the center of the board, making sure that on every turn, the hero's perceptions are altered by the change magic in the air. All the doors are going to go to different rooms. You'll still be able to follow the map upon which the quest is based, or whatever that looks like, because I didn't actually make a quest with this setup. But you can randomly move whatever doors you want, because if you're strong enough to take on a Keeper of Secrets, well, I mean, some mobs in a little dungeon shouldn't bother you at all, right? Go ahead and move open doors to new positions, and then whatever is in that room is now revealed. Enemies are active and so on. But in the next turn, when the Keeper of Secrets decides to change the position of the doors again, some enemies and or heroes might be trapped until such a time that they can get out when the door comes back to the edge of the wall. But enough about that. You want to spruce up your dungeon, and what better way to do that than to get dirt cheap with Lava Flow expansion?
I am all about torturing the heroes with eternal pain and suffering in the name of Tzeentch, but do we have to go so hard so fast? I mean, lava?
Yeah, no, I have the product right here, and lava going through the corridors of your dungeon, forcing your heroes to reroute their path and playing on top of the layer of the game mechanic wherein doors are randomly shifting around the dungeon. I mean, what could be more fun? What could be more diabolical?
I get it. I just, in the name of Tzeentch, that's kind of 0 to 100. Maybe we could start out with some waterways.
Sure, you know what? It's about the same thing. We'll start with some waterways. The Waterways expansion and the Lava Flow expansion are both dirt cheap dungeon products. And here are your lovely SKUs for each, just in case you need those. The pictures on the cards, as usual, don't really do the product as much justice as I hope to do here. Now, this might look a little funny on a HeroQuest board. These things are usually meant to accommodate the 5th edition of the world's most popular tabletop RPGs, but you can make this sort of thing work if you're creative enough in your endeavors. The reason that I don't mind showing these off together, other than by request of the Keeper of Secrets, is that they're kind of cut from the same cloth, if you will, or rather cast in the same mold. They are injected into the same mold. And so all of your actual texture on the parts, all the stuff you can feel, the part of the form itself is going to be the exact same. It's just that there's a color change between the 2 parts. This isn't 3D printing. This is good old-fashioned classic injection molding. Injection molding. You have my heart. Something interesting about the manufacturing technique used to produce these parts is that because the color kind of flows through in a liquid state during the thermoplastics injection process, no 2 parts are going to look the exact same. I imagine a lot of these get formed at the same time and then the die opens and they all fall out, but they're just all going to look a little bit different every single cycle, multiple parts to a cycle. And then when the material change happens to change the color, we have this orange, and the translucency and the saturation and where it's more sparse and where it's more dense, it's going to be different every single time between the pieces. I really like that. At the time of this video, these are the only 2 things that are liquid in a sort of waterway form, and I would urge the creators to maybe give us a green or a clear, and then we can go ahead and paint up the clear to look like however we want. Just a case of clear, All right, we'll go over all of the different shapes and forms that come with both of these. And we don't have a lot. We have a very gentle straight tile, gentle curve flowing water, very natural looking. Basically meant to take up about 2 tiles wide worth of space. Perfect for blocking off that pesky center corridor. You've got a spot in the stream where it narrows, and maybe your heroes will be able to jump over this or otherwise mitigate it. You could put these directly in dungeon rooms if you desire. And now you've got a bit of a pit trap mechanic, where if the heroes are able to jump over it on a successful roll of a combat die, they're on the other side now and everything's good. But if not, then they're going to either suffer damage or get swept away to a different part of the dungeon. And what could be more changer of ways than changing your way through the dungeon actively? Don't get me wrong, these will fit perfectly on your 2x4 section of tile in any room. You really get enough of these to craft your whole stream or creek. And if you want to double these up because they match in shape, then you can expand this concept to a whole river. And by the way, this is the 3rd shape. It is still a gentle, curved section of water. And we have several more. We have the bend in the water. You can use multiples of these if you'd like to sharpen the degree of the bend. So I realize now I didn't choose the best background for this presentation at all. I apologize. So 1 bend tile here between 2 waterways tiles, and you may have to further remove some of the plastic there where it comes off at the end. Those are not gates. That must be where it was connected to a larger sprue of parts. There's with 1 bend tile. Here's with 2 bend tiles, so 90 degree, which means each one of these is about 45 degrees. You want a 135 degree bend? No problem. You can do that. Got yourself a little hairpin almost. All right, this is all good and fine, but what if you want to stop the water? You can do that with one of these end caps, these little basins. And this can mark where the water stops. By the way, you've got these 45 degree bends and you've got these 90 degree bends. So you don't have to use 2 of the 45s. You can just use 1 of the 90s, or you can use whatever combination you'd like. We also have a larger basin or end, and you can make stuff that looks kind of like this if you'd like. Or you can take 4 90 degree bends and make a nice pool of water, or a loop of water. You can frame some things in dramatic ways by building the water around them. Don't like how that looks? Just give it a little last minute change there. There we go. There's 1 shape left I didn't show you, and that's kind of this bend with a bit of a bulge. Now all of your lava pieces are pretty much the same way. Oh no, there's 1 more. There's 1 more shape in here. This is your junction, and this will allow your water to split off into 2 different paths. Okay, as unnatural as this whole shape might be, it's just an example of something that you can do with this. Now, in terms of like, will it HeroQuest, you can do some really cool stuff like this, because the bend tiles will fit in even the smallest rooms and provide you access to water or lava for whatever you might wish it for.
You'll never figure out how to get in the center room, squawk!
We can take the water, put it in buckets that we find in other rooms, take it to the lava and dump it on. That should cause it to turn to stone. A completely safe and walkable path.
I don't think that's how lava works, bruv.
It's exactly how it works, and I'll roll the skull die to prove it. 1 bucket of water equals 1 lava tile mitigated. Whoosh! That's the sound of the water bucket pouring on the lava. Whoosh! You're obligated to make those noises if you're going to be playing Zargon in this game.
Squawk, you figured it out.
My only question now is, are we strong enough to take you on?
Once these bloody doors stop moving, we've got a plan in it.
The orc is right. He'll be able to take the untempered weapons, put them into the lava as long as he finds the Forge Master's gloves elsewhere in the dungeon, and takes them into the next room, so long as the door is in place, to put them into the water, cooling them, tempering them, and allowing them to strike true. Or I guess roll an extra combat die whenever you attack.
I was gonna say we put the lava in the buckets, but I like your idea better.
Oh, I actually like your idea better, Orc. You can take buckets of lava and throw them on the enemy. That's brilliant. I mean, reward your players. Set things up like a puzzle and give them multiple ways to fight the enemy.
Hey, Druid, what's the scouter say about his power level?
What?
I mean, how many combat dice does he roll? Over 9,000!
Obviously, this stuff is being used a little bit outside of its use case, but you can still make some really awesome scenes, kind of like this. You can link rooms together by virtue of them sharing lava or water tiles. And these tiny ones, these tiny little bits of water, you can place them in whatever room you want, and then when the character goes in to collect the water, either put it in a bottle or a bucket or drink it or whatever, you can just take them off the board because, I mean, it maybe kind of makes sense. I keep saying that this scenario is cool, but I think it's more hot and cold. Am I right? I said, am I right? Obviously, if you don't want to get into like the more intermediate mechanics presented here, you can just use these to simply block the hero's path in the dungeon. Because, I mean, putting down tiles that represent fallen blocks and rubble and or just the stone walls, that gets a little old after a while, right? No? Just me? Dirt cheap. I want green. Give us a green for the swamp levels, for the sewer levels, for the chaos warp levels, for the bogs, for the homes of the ratmen. I mean, we can even use them as healing pools, you know? At the end of the day, our heroes beat the Lord of Change, because why would you doubt them? This dungeon appeared out of nowhere. It's not on our map. I think we're being messed with, bruv. I think you're right. Let's get out of here before anybody else comes along and gets in our way.
Oh, you foolish heroes, I will crush you, for cord cares not from where the blood flows.